Hi, it's Dana, MsDanaGerous. Welcome to the Back to Basics Weight Loss Surgery channel. It is Saturday, July 13th. We're halfway through the month almost. Today, let's see, I just thought I would give you a quick update on Tanya's No More Bullshit in July challenge. I'm part of that challenge, working pretty good for me. This week has been going good and pretty good as far as controlling the stray kinds of eating. Last night I did have a little frozen yogurt, but wasn't out of control. And the rest of my eating has been well in check this week. Getting my walking in, and I hope you're joining us on the journey this week to kind of get our things back together mid-year and kind of re-jumpstart some stuff. So I know several of you have joined in, and if you're with us, yay. If you're not with us yet, it's not too late to join. Basically, we're just talking about, kind of get those little stray habits that started creeping back in to get things back in check and back on track here that we're midway through 2013, because this is the time to look and say, where do I want to be at the end of the year? What did I say I wanted to be at the beginning of the year? Where do I want to be at the end of the year, and to get back on track? So things are going good. Today I have for you a recipe. It is something my mother has been making for years and years, since actually I was a kid, and I made it before weight loss surgery, and I'll continue to make it after weight loss surgery, and it is an easy oven barbecue brisket, and it's it does take an oven. I think you can do it. You could probably do it on a gas grill as long as you maintain the heat low, and you probably want to put the brisket in foil, not on direct part of the heat, because you really do want to cook this slow and low for a number of hours. We do it in the oven really, really slow and low for a number of hours. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day. Bye. So only 4 ingredients needed for this easy oven barbecue brisket. A brisket, some kind of seasoning or rub, and actually that could be more than one thing. Today I'm going to use one thing. Liquid smoke, and that's really the secret ingredient, and then some barbecue sauce of your choice. So brisket, let's talk brisket. I get brisket at Costco. I don't see brisket in the regular grocery store very often, but I get this at Costco. It's one of the only places I do it, see it, and it's a big piece of meat. This is a little over 4 pounds, and but this is this is going to feed the family for several days. And it's worth a party, a crowd, or whatever. So it's a very interesting chunk of meat. Notice that the grain kind of goes this way diagonally across the meat. I don't know where it comes from on the cow, but it's yummy. I grew up in Texas, and we ate brisket all the time. It was a very popular cut of barbecue, slow roasted barbecue. So that is what I ate, and I love it. Now, I usually just use like salt, pepper, maybe garlic powder, but really it's up to you. This time, I just bought this at Sam's Club. I'm going to use this Weber Bold and Smoky Chipotle seasoning. We just bought it, and I actually used it in hamburgers this weekend. It was pretty good. But I want some kind of dry seasoning that I'm going to coat the roast with, the brisket. And then this liquid smoke. You get this with like the Worcestershire sauces, and this is the mesquite smoke. They also make a hickory smoke. Both are good. I use this in my crock pot pulled pork also. This, if you're doing an oven or a crock pot, is what gives you the taste of it being done over a smoker or an open flame barbecue. So that, to me, this is the secret weapon in this oven recipe, or a crock pot recipe. This is what gives you the taste. And then the barbecue sauce really is going to be your choice. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my roast out and liberally coat it with the spices, put it in a foil packet, and sprinkle my liquid smoke on it. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to have to put the camera down, and I'll come back to show you in a minute after I'm done. Okay, so I've already done the underside of the roast, and I just want to kind of show this to you. Now, this liquid smoke, a little bit goes a long way. You know, you kind of splash. A little bit goes a long way. So what I do is I splash a few splashes over the roast, and then I sprinkle, my seasoning, and then I kind of use my hands and rub around the top. And, I probably use maybe 6 or 8 splashes on each side of the roast of that liquid seasoning, and that's it. So I think don't go overboard with it, or you may be upset. It may be too much for you. And when you then rub this stuff in, your hands are going to smell like liquid smoke. Okay, so here is the finished part. Now, there is a fatty side to this piece of meat, so you always want to cook the fatty side up, because you want the fat to go down into the meat. Yes, you want the fat to go down into the meat. That keeps the meat moisture. So, I splash the non-fatty side of the meat, put my rub on it, put it down. Then I splash the fatty side of the meat, put my rub on it, and then I'm going to seal this up in foil. And I actually always do 2 layers of foil just in case one gets poked. And then I'm going to put it in the oven, low heat. I'm going to do a 300-degree oven, and I'm going to cook this at least 2 hours. I'm going to do 2 hours and then check it. You want to do slow and low. Okay, so this has been cooking for 3 hours. And I opened it up, and what you're going to see is that a lot of juice has cooked. And it is not near tender, and that's not to be expected. It's definitely not intended to be tender at this point. It's a big piece of meat. But this is the time that you move to the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour out all of the juice and just pour it off, and I pour it into like a pot or a separate container. It's hot, so to be really careful. And then I'm going to pour the barbecue sauce on top, and then I'm going to seal the foil back up, and then I'm going to put it back into the oven, same 300 degrees, and then I'm going to let it cook for another hour. And really from here on out, it's just I cook it as long as it takes until it becomes really tender with a fork. So that's the next step. Okay, here's just another quick look. I've just squeezed barbecue sauce all over the top of this before I put it back in the oven. And then I'm going to seal it back up. Okay, so here is the finished product, and it's been in the oven about 2 more hours. It's very tender now. You can see that it has made more juice, and that's the reason I always stop and pour the juice off and then add the barbecue sauce, and then pour the juice off and then add more barbecue sauce, because if you just put the barbecue sauce on at the beginning and then let it cook, it's way too juicy, soupy. So you let it cook for a while, pour the juice off, then add barbecue sauce, and then because it still is making juice, etc. And now I'm going to take it out and do some slicing. And when you slice a brisket, you want to slice across the grain, and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so there you have it. This is sliced 2.5 ounces of easy oven barbecue beef brisket with a little bit of barbecue sauce drizzled across the top. I always serve it with extra barbecue sauce on the side. My husband likes spicy barbecue sauce, so I always serve some on the side, add as much or as little. This is my small plate. You can see the size of my hand, and that's 2.5 ounces measured out. And that will be my dinner tonight, along with some little veggies on the side. So it's pretty good. Dan says, hey, tastes good. And that's for dinner. So I hope you enjoy. And again, it's easy. Takes some time in the oven, but no time at all other than just to get it started. And it is, no, not exactly like hours over the smoker and open grill, but it's the best I can do in a fake. Bye.